So moral or religious beliefs are often a big driver here. I've certainly got a lot of Jewish friends who just refuse to buy a German car. No amount of product differentiation will change their mind. That's a strong moral position that no amount of rational argument can address.
And didn't the Quakers, weren't they early?
Yeah, that's right.
Pioneers in ethical investing. Many might have been in the 1700s, I believe.
Yeah. So the Quakers brought us many great innovations in investing. So many of the mutual funds, like Friends Provident, date back to the 1700s, where they were very strong. John Wesley talked about the sextet of sin being alcohol, gambling, pornography, usury. I'm struggling a bit. But anyway,
square dancing in roundhouses,
probably. And so that was obviously a big driver in the Quaker movement, who were largely excluded from the professions. So they couldn't be lawyers, they couldn't be doctors. So they flocked to finance. Now, I'm not sure what that tells us about the personal finance industry, but that was why they set up a lot of those businesses. So Barclays Bank, Lloyd's of London, they're all great Quaker institutions from the 1700s. But certainly as we're moving on to the not profiting of anything that's against your values. And probably more controversially, there's the aiming to make a positive impact on the world. But we'll come back to all of that later. Now, Life Sherpa, as you may or may not know, is a B corporation. So we have a mission to deliver affordable personal advice to all Australians. And for that, we are accredited with the B Corp movement, which is a recognition of companies that look at their impact on the environment and society generally and have some form of mission. So this is obviously a topic that's fairly dear to our heart and to our members. So when we talk about ESG, which I think is sort of a broader term, talk about environmental things, which is focusing on companies that do or don't affect climate change and their carbon footprint. We look at renewable energy, look at waste management and biodiversity. On the social side, which goes a little bit beyond the organization and talks about human rights and employee treatment, talks about diversity and exclusion programs, and of course their interaction with the community. And then the one that probably has some of the biggest impacts on sustainability of companies, if not necessarily their business model, is governance. So that's around transparency in business practices. It's about ethical leadership, and it's about accountability of executives and board. So depending on where you're looking in the funds management or investment space, you will see greater or lesser impacts of each of these areas. So you need to be very clear what you're looking for and the weighting you place on these. So from an environmental perspective, Tesla often scores well, but it scores appallingly on governance, unsurprisingly, and often performs poorly on social because of its labor relations operations. Similarly, Apple, low carbon footprint, but arguably, social stuff about their supply chain.